I played Assassin's Creed Nexus, and here are my thoughts on the game after 1 hour of gameplay at Ubisoft Düsseldorf. Thank you Ubisoft for inviting me, and stay tuned for more. What's up guys, my name is Franky Boy. In this channel I am covering everything regarding open world games, and in this case it's not really an open world game, but it's an Assassin's Creed and I love the brand, so I have to cover it, of course. I was able to play 1 hour of Assassin's Creed Nexus VR at Ubisoft Düsseldorf, and this was a great experience. I have to say there are some negative points. Of course, it's not the biggest and best or something like that. It is just a short experience of Assassin's Creed, 15 hours of gameplay. Maybe you can stretch it out to 20, but that's it. We play as either Ezio, Cassandra or Connor, and it is total VR experience, so first-person Assassin's Creed, and that's totally different. I started out with one hidden blade and without a crossbow, and right now you will see how I earned my crossbow. And I have to add to that, this is B-roll by Ubisoft. It is not the footage I saw or I created of the game. They pre-recorded it for me. But I have to say I did the same mission right here, and I saw almost everything you can see in this trailer footage. Going up to a vendor and picking something or stealing something, you have to say in this case. It's not like they sell you the things. One of the best things in VR is like the immersive feeling. And if you are afraid of motion sickness, they have a few features to guide you through that, like a vignette to not see so much around you, or like some step guides that will tell you where your next steps would be if you follow a certain parkour, and even teleport function to get you out of these situations. And here I am getting my first crossbow, or the crossbow. Cassandra of course has a bow too, and each of the characters basically functions the same way, so there's no huge difference in the gameplay. You will see that soon. Well, in this video I only have footage of Ezio Auditore. I only played as Ezio Auditore da Firenze. In this case I got my crossbow and I just had to get it behind my back and put it forward and then get the arrows, put it on it and then trigger. So it will kind of be a little bit different for the bow with Cassandra, for example, but basically the same tools. Like everyone has these throwing knives, you have the crossbow, the bow, or throwing tomahawk. But yeah, it's quite fun to be in a first-person Assassin's Creed, and especially the leap of faith is quite scary. If you are afraid of that, there's a mode for almost anyone to make it playable for you. The only downside is you have to have the Quest 2 or the Quest 3 of Meta. So this is like the biggest downside of Assassin's Creed Nexus. You are limited to those devices. It's an Facebook exclusive deal. So this is why I think, yeah, this will be at least be the second or last place of all player counts in Assassin's Creed. Like, I can't imagine many people would get a 300 or 500 euro device to play it. First I was thinking like, I'm afraid of motion sickness, but it kind of is cool when you're in it. You can crouch in real life and they will crouch in the game, but you can also push a button to crouch in the game, and but then your eye level won't match what you feel, so I think it's better to really crouch. There's also a seated mode, so you can like use your chair and play on the chair. That's no problem. If you're in a wheelchair, so you don't have a problem with that, you can still play it, and that's a great feature. I think they generally put many thoughts into make it accessible. The best thing about the game, in my opinion, is the parkour. The fight is quite challenging. You have to block it and then you can stab the enemies. I kind of did a stabbing technique first, but I think that's not the best thing to practice in the game, because actually slashing works better, but I thought it's like a rapier. I can do it. Is it called rapier in English? In French we say rapier. This mission was quite interesting. You had to get in silent, so you shouldn't be detected. You could totally use a smoke bomb. I first threw a smoke bomb on the guard at the entrance, but the other way was a little bit more sneaky and stealthy. You could crouch here, but yeah, keep your knives prepared. In this mission we shouldn't kill anyone before we get the key. We had to steal something, and we could either like lockpick the chest or we could steal the key from a guard. There's no footage of that provided here, but believe me, yeah, he's having the keys down there, and you can just approach him whenever it is highlighted and get the key. It's so immersive. I loved playing it, but you have to keep in mind it's not like it would grant anything great to Assassin's Creed in general or so. It has some modern day parts, but it's not like changing anything in general or adding anything huge in general. It's just some more adventures of Assassin's Creed heroes that match the basic Assassin's Creed playstyle, and it's fun to do that in first person and VR at the same time. So I would totally recommend it for anyone having a Nexus device at home, a MetaQuest at home, a MetaQuest 2 or 3. I would totally recommend playing this game. It's worth your time. I played 1 hour and didn't want to stop, and that's always a good sign. But you have to keep in mind I only played this one passage here with Ezio Auditore. I played a little tutorial and then one mission. I think it was mission 7 or so, quite deep into the game, and the parkour was quite challenging. You had to perform some really nice moves, so you had to like really move your body, like press yourself up from a border or something. And yeah, the parkour is really fun, and you have quite a few things to make it easier for you. Even if you are afraid of heights, there's a mode for you that puts some grids around everything to make you remember, oh, I'm in a video game, this isn't the real world. So they really put a lot of thoughts into that, making it accessible. In conclusion, it's a nice short Assassin's Creed adventure of 15 to 20 hours. The story isn't that fascinating, it's just stepping into those first person is enough for me. The world, of course, isn't that beautiful. There's also a nice mode where you go into like eagle vision, but it sadly isn't shown in this footage. You're kind of above everything and can look down and see these Assassin's Creed cities below you. That's like the most impressive thing, I think. And here we are, of course, in Venezia, exploring the city, and it's quite fun to explore it in first person. It's a little bit more immersive than the video games, and you recognize them, the city, or maybe you recognize it from the old games or from real life. It's a little bit more immersive. It's very cool. My conclusion is it's totally worth checking out the game. It is fun. It is not like it has too much gameplay variance. It doesn't have like this intense story. I think these heroes, they all have stories that are already told. We play Cassandra after Assassin's Creed Odyssey, so that also plays into account of the tool set she can use. Like, I don't want to spoil anything, but if you played it, you know what I mean, what changes after Assassin's Creed Odyssey with Cassandra, and what tools she has available. And that's quite an interesting thing to keep in mind. And yeah, one of the most fun thing was, I think, the crossbow. It was super fun to get it from behind your back, and like using the hidden blades, you really had to do this movement. Like the controllers, they really know, okay, he's doing the hidden blade movement, flash, and you get it into the face of an enemy. It's super rewarding to do so, and it feels like you're really an assassin. The only thing that is missing, of course, is like heavy weight, depending on the tool you're using, but that's the only limitation I had there. So nothing really negative to say about it. I didn't see too much, so I can't say, okay, every mission is the same. I can't say anything to that. I don't know yet. But what I saw looked awesome and was fun, and I would totally recommend checking it out if you have a device ready for that and you are interested in VR gaming. It is currently not planned to make it available at VR spaces where you can go and like just rent it for an hour, because it's a long story game and it doesn't match the concept of VR spaces. I mean, you could like lend it, and with it I mean like a MetaQuest device, or rent it for a month and then play through it. That's also a possibility. Maybe take that into account, or getting your own one. I'm still very curious about the augmented reality features of the MetaQuest, to be honest, and I think the technology is super interesting and makes life a little bit more interesting in some situations. But yeah, not a lot to talk about anymore. I'm curious if you will get the game or check it out. Please tell me in the comments down below, and subscribe to this channel for everything about Assassin's Creed. I love the brand, and I did a few thousand videos about it on my main channel, which is a German channel called Fracknot. You might have stumbled across it, or maybe not. I hope to see you guys in the future. Stay subscribed for more, and goodbye.